are in conversation with Graham Oxby, CEO of Community Fibre, a provider that continues to redefine what exceptional broadband looks like in London, UK's capital city. Community Fibre has recently achieved standout success in Opensignal's Broadband Experience Report, winning not only reliability experience, consistent quality, but also download and upload speed awards. With these wins, Community Fibre has cemented itself and its position as London's performance leader, delivering fast, consistent, and reliable experience to both households and businesses across London. Graham, thank you so much for being with us today.
My
and
pleasure.
I look forward to our conversation and trying to unravel how did you achieve this remarkable success.
I look forward to having that conversation.
Thank you. So Graham, let me start with a question. Community Fibre started with a mission to bring high quality, affordable internet to London communities, quite often to multi-dwelling units, which is obviously quite hard to address. And some of those, there were also social housing, and technically and traditionally, connectivity was quite poor in those areas. What was the core technical gap that you have identified, and what did you have to do to address that? And what lied behind the decision to go 100% fibre? And this is obviously quite cost, involving quite a bit of cost. So do you see return on investment in there? Like, tell me about your strategy.
Yeah, I mean, you're right, we started on social housing in particular. That was a little bit the origins of the company and also the origins of where the company name comes from. And I suppose the core technical challenge was those places typically didn't even have fibre to the cabinet. So they were getting very, very low speeds. And those properties are typically the ones that get connected last in any rollout of new technology. So the founders of the company wanted to turn that on its head and actually try and deliver something great for those consumers sort of right first time. And that's really why we chose fibre. We didn't want a sort of hybrid cable, we didn't want a hybrid Ethernet, we just wanted to go fibre. And that's because if you're going to do this, you want to do it once, you want it to last 25 or 30 years. And we know obviously that the XGS-PON technology allows us to scale faster and faster speeds. We currently provide up to 10 gig, but we know it will go to 25, we know it will go to 50, it will go to 100. The core underlying fibre will allow us to keep upgrading the technology as the cost of those higher, or the infrastructure for those higher speeds reduces over time, so we can use the same fibre. So that was the core decision. Some people, or some of our competitors, chose to do hybrid. Fibre and Ethernet in the building. We know that Ethernet restricts speed, and our view was never that 1 gig was going to be enough. We always thought that it was going to go multi-gig and go there quite quickly.
Interesting. So going full fibre from the get-go, so you don't have to then upgrade it.
Absolutely,
so the technology is then
Absolutely
ready.
Right.
So last year saw a bit of a strategic shift in your approach to what you do your rollout. So not only focusing on homes passed, so you posted the 2.2 million target, and more thinking about how many customers you connect, and you've reached 1.2 million footprint. So could you describe the most significant technological and operational challenges in your transition, and what has allowed your technology department to drive this lean operations across your footprint?
Yeah, we made a decision to focus more of our investment on filling the network we'd already built. So we took a period of about 6 months to sort of build or close down our build program, which was running at 50,000 homes passed every month. We took a 6-month period to do that because we wanted to close it down in a quality way. And actually these things do take a while to close down well, and we wanted to maximise the number of homes that we would get from the whole build program. And so that's what we did. We had fortunately always been very focused on adding customers. So it wasn't as if we said, oh, we've now built a network, we've now got to fill it. We'd always been filling the network. But of course, when you stop building, your rate of customer growth as a percentage, your take-up rate just goes up really, really quickly. And that's what we saw. And we're now at 31% take-up. So we're seeing very, very high levels of take-up across the board. The main operational elements in terms of having a low-cost operating model are really around getting it absolutely right first time for the customer. Now, it sort of sounds obvious, everyone says it, but it's actually quite hard to do, and it does rely on a sort of relentless focus on what didn't go right today, such that we can fix it and make it better for the customers. And if you do that, then actually your costs just drop out of the business. The cost of failure, the cost of repeat visits, the cost of doing things twice or 3 or 4 times just fall away. Now, underlying that, the core underlying essence is having really good data. And we're very, very lucky. We have an absolutely fantastic data solution. And that allows our engineers and our managers to see virtually everything every day and take action based on what they can see. And it's been a really liberating capability that we've built. So we have sort of 300 or 400 people who can see the data they need instantaneously without having to ask the data team to provide them data. They use it every day. And it's been really actually heartening to see how good data and the accessibility and ease of manipulation and analysis allows your engineers to actually do a really great job. And we've seen some fantastic improvements in terms of our overall failure rates as it comes to installations, such that we're now able to offer installations next day, which is a fantastic achievement. Our service visits are always dealt with either next day or the day after the next, and all our installations are completed within 3 days, even if there's a failure. So that operational excellence actually weirdly drives cost out of the business. And gives you a really sustainable model, and one that customers are very happy with. That's why our Trustpilot scores are so high. Something like 70,000 reviews at 4.7, which is quite difficult to achieve. That's more reviews than most big brands,
yes.
So we're doing something right, but we constantly focus on what we're not doing right, and that means that we get better every day.
It's interesting. So pretty much the saying is data is the new currency. So you're really leaning into understanding the data and learning from it so you can prevent possible issues as well.
Absolutely right. You can see them, you can prevent them, you can go to the level of one individual customer, or you can aggregate to see trends. And that's very, very powerful. I was a little bit of a skeptic of these sort of fantastic data lakes and how beneficial they could be, because I'd never really seen it in my other organisations I've worked in. But this one has really cracked it. And so the IT team have done a fantastic job in collecting all of our data together so that everyone can use it if they need to use it. And that's been very, very powerful.
But your network operations are very efficient, and that's key to your low-cost model. And I've been doing research before our conversation today, and your team has successfully implemented something called robotic process automation, RPA for short, and an API platform, and reportedly saving 12,000 hours in the first year. So that's, again, using very much data. And how are you leveraging these foundational digital systems as you move towards AI for IT operations? And are you building more of the predictive models, shifting some of this? Again, we discussed it from a bit of a reactive to more predictive operations.
Yeah. Look, I think the beauty of things like robotic process automation is that it allows you to very quickly deal with things that otherwise would take a lot of people and a lot of effort, and actually introduce a lot of errors and mistakes. So that's been a very effective and powerful tool, not just in the network or indeed in IT, but also in our core other operations across the company, and we continue to do more and more of that. I think because we've got so much data now, we are now becoming quite smart at understanding where, let's say, parts of the network might not be performing as well as we would like them. So we're able to aggregate the data, we can see the trends, and that allows us to go out and do predictive maintenance in areas before it becomes a real issue for customers. So that's something we absolutely do. We've done some really interesting trials with really proactive work with consumers. So we are able to see what's going on in the consumer's home in terms of Wi-Fi behaviours. We can see, for example, if there's enough routers, if the routers are too far apart, or indeed there's congestion on one frequency, 2.5 gig or 5 gig. And when we've called customers to explain this to them, to say, well, look, if you moved your router a bit nearer, or you took a little bit of time just to change the frequencies, you get enormously positive reactions to that. And that's really where we want to get to, is that sort of be able to say to customers, look, if you move your routers closer together, or you tweak this or tweak that, you'll have a much better in-home Wi-Fi experience. Now we can only do that because we're able to process enormous amounts of data very quickly, but equally to isolate individual customers in a particular street who might be having a problem that probably isn't to do with the network, but is to do with the router setup in the home. And I think that becomes very, very powerful, and something that, given that broadband and Wi-Fi are sort of interchangeable in consumers' minds, they often call it their Wi-Fi service, not their broadband service. That ability to say, if you did this, it would be better, is super, super powerful. And our initial experience is customers are really pleased when you do that, particularly if they haven't even particularly noticed the problem, which is also the case. Not all customers notice that there's a problem.
And not many customers actually know what's the root cause of the problem.
No.
So we do quite a bit of analysis, as you mentioned, the in-home broadband experience. So most of the time we consume whatever it was, is the fiber, is the cable, using Wi-Fi. So if there's an issue with the Wi-Fi, it's not necessarily the fault of the provider.
Yes.
It's the issue with the in-home broadband environment. The UK telecom market is defined by speed escalation, and with your XGS PON network supporting symmetrical speeds up to 10 gigabits per second, the natural evolution is going to 25. And do you have any timelines to do that for the technical deployment? And do we even need that amount of speed for the current use cases?
Well, it's a very interesting question. The majority of our customers are on 1 gig or above, so we're already, if you like, proving the need for speed in the London market. We're just seeing the adoption of 2.5 gig and 5 gig amongst our consumer base, so that's growing. I think 25 inevitably will come. The technology and the network is perfectly capable of dealing with 25 or indeed 50 over time. But I think we'll see an evolution to the multi-gig speeds up to 10 in the next few years. So I don't think we need to rush to do 25 gig. I think, do we need it? I think we always are able to find ways of using extra speed. Having spent many years in the mobile business where extra speed, everyone said, do you need more of it? Well, they used it, and actually the content creators and the innovators in terms of application development always value the ability to do things quickly, and so I think we will find ourselves gradually moving up the speed tiers, and we will be deploying 25 and we will be deploying 50 gig speeds. But I think when we're ready, I don't think we need to rush to that, and I think we probably need the technology to mature a bit, and we need it to be deployable at scale so it's relatively affordable. We are launching Wi-Fi 7, in fact we launched it this week on our higher speed packages,
yes.
And we will ultimately obviously be rolling it out more widely than that. The routers are a bit more expensive, but that's a trend that's moving quite quickly, so that we should be able to offer Wi-Fi 7 as a standard product at some point during 2026 for everybody in terms of affordability. I think as ever we're a little bit careful in terms of how we talk about Wi-Fi 7 because there aren't ever so many devices that can support Wi-Fi 7. With those partnerships, we connect with them typically at a data center. We're only really responsible for the traffic that flows from the home to the data center. They then route it to the internet, so they deal with all of that as they do with their other partners. And that means we're not under particular pressure to do something different or special on our network because we've got wholesale partners. So it's quite an elegant, simple model. We just have to stay on top of it and make sure we're doing that all day long, looking at the traffic levels and just making sure we've got capacity in the right places at the right time to allow customers to basically not notice that they're using a lot more and there's more of them.
Yes, that obviously is very, very important. Yeah. Community Fibre is also active in the B2B market, and you offer quite high speeds, 10 giga, with quite stringent service level agreements, including 99.9% uptime, which is quite impressive. So are there any specific choices that you had to, design choices that you had to make in the metro and access network for B2B connectivity to ensure you can meet those guarantees? And is this translating into higher average revenue per user from B2B segments?
Yeah, I think the B2B market is really interesting. I mean, our target across the company is to have 99.99%, whether they be consumer or businesses. And it's a very redundant network in the sense of there's lots of resilience. There isn't a single cabinet that hasn't got at least 2 links, and often can be up to 10 to 15 links, depending on where it's based. So we have a lot of resilience in the network, and that supports our ambitions in B2B. Now in our B2B model, we tend to build to order. So it's a discrete build. We don't just have the network sitting there waiting for them. So we'll connect business by business, site by site, and that allows us to deliver a good quality installation, allows us to deliver some resilience as well where that's necessary, and that's really been the root of our success in terms of winning B2B customers. We seem to have gotten a little bit that the purpose of the altnets, the alternative networks, was to bring competition to a UK market that had very little competition. Basically had Openreach network and Virgin Media network. Customers paying very high prices, customers not getting great service, and customers really generally unhappy. If you look at any measure of customer happiness on nearly all of the big ISPs, it's pretty appalling. So the purpose of altnets was to bring successful competition to the market. It wasn't to build a part network and then sell it to somebody else. And we very much stuck to that sort of model and mantra, and we've sort of proved that we can add a lot of customers and that we can be financially successful. But you can only do that in that sort of market where you have price competition. Price is always an element of a customer decision to move. Now we're lucky in this country as an altnet in the sense that most of the big networks have gradually increased their prices substantially and also very steadily to a point where most customers are paying way too much for what they're getting. So there's definitely room for competition. Now, of course, we have to make sure we make money on that. We ensure that by operating a very lean model. What that means is that every element of the journey, whether it's from our sales and marketing activity or our installation activity or our service activity or our customer service handling, is done very, very efficiently. And we know that we benchmark very effectively against many, many telcos across Europe in terms of what we call our unitary cost for all of those activities. So it has to be a whole company approach to making sure that we deliver great service first time. We use data to be smarter, and that means we can have quite low costs. And that's showing through in our financials. We don't charge a lot for our broadband relative to the others, but we are very close to being cash flow positive on that model, so it can work. More broadly, you look at the market, there's obviously quite a lot of competitors, or say there's not so many competitors, but there's a lot of altnets out there who have not yet got to a point where they've got good levels of take-up or indeed are financially sustainable. And they're the ones who are really engaged in conversations with each other about can they come together. My own view of that is that whilst coming together will save you some cost, it doesn't overnight make you a great commercial success. You potentially have two or an even bigger emptier network that you need to fill. The real focus of all altnets has to be connecting customers, and that's a focus effectively on sales and marketing intensity. In the footprint that you're operating in, you have to be constantly present for customers who are coming out of contract every week. They make a decision, you only have 7 days to get them, and you've got to be there. You've got to be in their face saying, we've got something that's good for you.
Definitely. Thank you so much. So Graham, thank you so much for sharing your insights with us today. It's been a pleasure to learn how Community Fibre has been on a journey in terms of making the customers loyal, trusting you, and making sure that you do have their interest at heart. So that sounds a bit corny, but it is true.
No, I think the community and Community Fibre is really important. For example, we've connected 720 community spaces for free. Libraries, social halls, those sorts of things. That's an important part of what we do under the Community Fibre brand.
And definitely being able to be connected in the modern age to everyday services, right? Everything is online. So if you're not connected, if you're not able to access, let's say, education, or not able to access the government services, you are at a disadvantaged position. So that's very, very important.
It's so important, and particularly in some of the social housing contexts where landlords are actually trying to move people to a digital access to the services that they provide, benefits, help and support, getting a job support, those sorts of things, they all require digital. So we've been really proud that we've been able to connect some of the poorest parts of London in terms of the sort of economic demographics and give them some of the best broadband that there is. I love the fact that in Westminster, it's the people in social housing who've got the fantastic speeds. The people who live in the big houses in Mayfair, they don't, and I love that.
Secondary digital divide, right?
Absolutely right. Absolutely.
Really interesting.
Yeah.
So thank you so much. Congratulations again on winning our awards, not only in download upload speed, which we think given the DNA of a network is important, but also consistency and reliability, because these are the metrics and the measures that's so important nowadays.
Absolutely.
You need to be able to be connected to do those everyday activities and be part of the digital economy and society. So thank you for joining us, and thank you everyone for listening.
Thank you.